Hey everybody, KC here. So I don't know if you saw 60 Minutes the other night. There was a really fascinating story about this high school on the south side of Chicago, and it's called Johnson College Prep. Now when they refer to it as college prep, basically it's kind of a hope, because the vast majority of the students who go to the school, well, they're living lives of poverty. Very often don't have parents, one parent living with a grandmother, and they're really struggling economically. So they really want to go to college, and they're working really, really hard, but it's just very difficult to afford it. And even if you go to a small school, the idea of tuition and books and things like that, it all mounts up, and it's very difficult for them to do it. Well, remarkably, there's an entrepreneur. His name is Pete Cadence. And Pete Cadence recently did a school assembly at Johnson College Prep. And basically, Cadence, and I should put this in context, Cadence is an entrepreneur. He started a bunch of companies. Apparently, he created and sold this really big cannabis company. And as he says, listen, I hit the lottery a number of times. I had the right birth lottery, the right zip code lottery, and the right education lottery. So he wanted to give something back. So he went to the school assembly and he announced that if you're in this school and you're a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, you're going to college if you want to go to college. And not only is this organization that he started, it's called Hope Chicago, not only are we going to pay your tuition, but we're going to pay your room and board and for your books. And that was remarkable. And then he took it one step farther. He said, if you have a parent or a guardian who'd like to go back to college, we're going to pay for them too. It was an enormous act of generosity and a signal of hope to these young people who are never going to forget this act of kindness. And he's brought in other billionaires to do this, and he's got some corporations who are throwing in some money, and he'd like to build this up around the country in various communities. So there could be Hope Cleveland or Hope Cincinnati or Hope Denver, whatever it happens to be. I thought this was really interesting, and I was very touched by it. We're all not billionaires, but I think we all do have to recognize that if you want to break the cycle of poverty and violence and homelessness and things like that, a lot of it starts with making sure people have an education so they have options going forward. My dad died a number of years ago, and he was an elementary school teacher and an administrator. And I'm actually at Mamaroneck High School in Mamaroneck, New York. Happens to be where Mrs. Content Guy and Michael Sansolo went to high school together, go figure. But I'm here because tonight there's going to be an awards ceremony for the seniors. And one of the things that we're just going to be handed out is 3 of them are going to get small $500 grants to pay for their books when they go to college. The only caveat is they have to be the first ones in their families to go to college. Now, this is an idea that was cooked up by my brother and my dad before my dad passed away. I have a younger sister who does all the work. I have very little to do with it other than I'm one of the family members who reads the essays and decides who's going to get the grant. But again, this is all about education, and it's all about figuring out how to support young people so they can move forward. And I think we're all looking for ways to make a difference, whether it's a big difference in your billionaire or a little difference if your father was an elementary school teacher, but little ways to focus on education. This is what we're trying to do. And I just encourage everybody to find ways to make this work. Anyway, I'm gonna go in because the ceremony is starting. It's an act of hope. Anyway, that's what's on my mind. And as always, I wanna hear what's on your mind.